California is the worst state in the country and it isn't even close. I traveled to California and I thought it was going to be a picturesque West Coast state, instead it's a dumpster fire. Population is closing in on 40 million people, you need to make over $120,000 annually to barely live comfortably. Forest fires, earthquakes, and landslides are the norm out there. Not to mention California has been in a state of chaos both politically and socially over the last 5 years. People seem to care more about banning straws than people openly shitting in the streets of San Francisco and sharing needles. How do so many people like it here? Am I missing something? When someone gets back to Russia from San Francisco and the first thing they tell you is the fucking hobos everywhere, you know it's not a good place. I flew into SFO once, and got on the BART to go to downtown San Francisco. About half an hour into the trip, a homeless man started urinating in the gap between the two cars, separated by the sliding doors. He then stumbled out, trousers around his ankles, cock flapping to and fro, spraying droplets of hobo urine on the hapless tourists sitting near the car end. Over the course of the next 2 hours, I saw more homeless people, filth, and poverty than I had in literal months traveling in Europe. What's crazy is that SF is the richest and most expensive part of the USA. Born and raised here, moved to AZ for over a year, came back to take care of family stuff, always have and always will hate it here. Stuck for now, hoping to move out again next year, but my parents know a lot of people that have moved out and moved back years later. You can't escape. Hotel California? True shit. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. I left nearly 20 years ago and never looked back. I live in Cali and really my only major gripes are rent prices even in non-tourist areas. I'm in wine country, so fuck me, our huge homeless problem that the local government is doing fuck all to fix, and the fact that despite the constant fires every year, PG&E is still not doing their fucking job or trimming trees near their power lines. California is like that rich kid you knew growing up, who had wealthy parents, everything at their feet, but became a complete drug-addled screw-up for some reason. They won the lottery with Silicon Valley being based in Norcal, and Hollywood industry in SoCal, yet banned apartments/condo development, gave old/rich people tax cuts through Prop 13, moving taxes to younger people, etc. Unless you are rich, California is horrible compared to the life you can build for your family elsewhere. Even for the rich, it is quite confronting when visiting a city like San Francisco. Parts of it feel like a developing country with drugs and excrement on the streets, while you are paying extreme prices for everything. The homeless and the poor of other American states have been traveling to California for its weather and social programs since the Depression. Don't want to sleep on a Chicago sidewalk in December if you don't have to. California is only bad because people get their expectations way too high. My friend tells me his power gets randomly shut off in high winds. While I understand concern, that's fucking ridiculous. I live in Kentucky. Tornadoes typically shut my power off. It's unfortunate too. I visited Cali and from what I saw it was beautiful. Am I missing something? Well, remember that California is literally the size of 2 to 3 states. I'm not sure where you visited, but it sounds like it was one of the major cities. I agree with a lot of what you said. I can't stand LA or a lot of the big cities. And the cost of living in a lot of places is incredibly high. That being said, because the state is so large, there are a lot of towns and cities throughout the state that are incredibly affordable, aren't affected by landslides, and have very little effect from forest fires and earthquakes. It's just that these aren't the cities that people are going to be visiting when they come on vacation. There are a lot of affordable, nice, safe places to live in California. They just aren't the popular touristy places. Yes, it is horrible, please do not move here. Thanks. I moved from there for a reason. There are certain things weather doesn't outweigh. The people who live there and like it live in a bubble of driving to work in their Beamer and going to Pilates after work. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather be a lot of places, but California isn't that bad. I've lived here for most of my life. Population, yeah, it's got high population depending where you are. There are also a lot of areas with small population, many little towns and whatnot once you get out of the major city areas. It would be like me assuming New York State is just one big city. Natural disasters, yes, we get them here. Where I live is in the valley, not at all affected by forest fires, and almost never felt an earthquake outside of some very minor ones. Even the bigger ones aren't often. Every state can have natural disasters, either fires, or blizzards, or hail, tornadoes, pick your poison. I'd take what we have any day over driving in a snowy area ever again and seeing every winter videos of multi-car pileups on highways. Cost of living, yeah, it sucks, but depends again where it is. Bay Area? Yeah, forget it, but then again people living in that area typically make crazy money. I don't even make half of the $120,000 annually you mention and am living comfortably. Chaos politically/socially, yet if you watch the news, it seems like chaos everywhere. Real world, it's not all that bad. Sure, problems exist, but it's not that bad in my area. One thing that is a growing problem is the homelessness issue. The shitting in the streets of SF and needle thing is becoming more frequent in SF and even outside of that in other cities. I know it's not just here though. When I got out of the military and visited a friend of mine in Albuquerque, New Mexico, every place we went during my stay there had homeless people begging for money. I've also been full on harassed by some in Seattle before, so it's not just California, it is an America issue. Why do I get the feeling there are going to be a lot of people from California writing in agreement with this UPO, trying to keep more people from coming into California? I visited several CA cities last year. I took about 10 days and just drove down the entire coast. I didn't go inland for really any reason. Granted, I was on vacation, so it all seemed dreamy to me, but it has a lot of natural beauty. But, again, I didn't spend my time commuting to work or walking down the downtown sidewalks.